one and all attending to this webinar. Greetings from Parul Institute of Pharmacy, Parul University. Today for the webinar, we have with us Dr. Vishal Patel, Assistant Manager, R&D, Vasu Research Center, a division of Vasu Healthcare Private Limited, Vadodara, Gujarat. Sir is having specialization in pharmacognosy. He has total 13 years of industry and academic experience. His area of expertise includes analytical method development and validation by HPLC, GC, HPTLC, UV, AAS, etc. Also, standardization of herbal and Ayurvedic drugs and formulations, extraction, isolation, and identification of markers from medicinal plants. Today, he will deliver a talk on development of herbal formulation. I request all attendees to drop your questions, if any, in chat box. With this, I request Dr. Vishal Patel to start with his session. Over to you, sir. Thank you all.
Thank you, Dr. Madhu Patel, for introductions. So, I will share my presentations. Visible?
Yeah, it's visible.
Yeah. Okay. So, good morning, one and all present for the webinar. Our topic for discussion today is development of herbal formulations, right? So, in this short presentation, we will discuss what is herbal formulations and how we will develop herbal formulation by research base. Okay. So, let us begin with the journey of herbal drug industry or say herbal formulations. So, as we all aware, the journey of herbal is means the journey of herbal plants and medicinal formulations are from the Vedic eras. So, initially, as we all know, in the previous years, it is called as Ayurveda. So, the mention of this medicinal plant, disease, and its application is in Rigveda also. But the first documentation of this uses, disease, and this formulation is mentioned in Charak Samhita and Sushrut Samhita. So we can say the journey of Ayurveda is begun with this well documented Charak Samhita and Sushrut Samhita. So as you can see, the initial journey of herbal drug was started years back from these rishis, right? From these rishis, this knowledge is transferred to the Raj Vaidya and Vaidya. So, in the era of kingdom and kings, there is called Raj Vaidya and Vaidya. So, any kind of disease or any kind of illness is there, this kind of Raj Vaidya and Vaidya are going to treat the people with this herbal plant. At that time only, herbal medicines are there to cure the disease. So, after that era, this knowledge is passed to the home remedies, right? So if you know your grandmother or great grandmother, so by basically you can know they have any kind of home remedies for your any kind of illness. So they can say if you have such kind of problem, you can use such kind of spice or herbs to treat well. So this knowledge from Raj Vaidya is transferred to the home remedies. After this home remedies, now in the recent era, or we can say very initial era of pharmaceutical, this Raj Vidya's knowledge or our knowledge of herbal drug and its medicines and formulations, it is transferred to the herbal drug industry. But initially it is very in the raw form. So there is no such instrumentation or such machineries to produce the well-defined, well-formulated herbal medicines. So they have just the herb, they can dry it, powder it, and use it in a very raw form. And so the research and development continue. And at the end, in recent era, you can find out the herbal drug industry is at par with this any kind of allopathic industry. So if you visit any well established herbal drug industry for your visit purpose, So you can find out no major difference between the allopathic industry and herbal industry. So this herbal drug industry is evaluated from these Vedas to this recent modern approach. So what is the main difference in healthcare service then and now? So as we see in the Vedic area or in the Rajved area, so the medicine, herbal medicine or Ayurvedic medicine that is used is mainly patient focused or say custom design. So we go to the Vaidyas, we share our problems and they can design and formulated medicine specifically for us, right? In such area today, this concept is also used for the chronic and complicated illness, but mainly nowadays, herbal industry is shifted to problem or disease focus, right? Because now this formulations of the medicine is formulated in large scale industry. So the patient focus is now shifted to the problem oriented. So you can find out now you in market you can find out the herbal medicine or Ayurvedic medicine for the specific disease, right? For the cough and cold, for BP, for diabetes, in such a way, right? So the main focus in nowadays is to hitting the causative factor, right? Break the pathological process and relieve the symptom. Now this is the main aim which this herbal industry nowadays develop the formulations, right? What happened initially, the medicines were dispensed by doctor. In a past era, there is no pharmaceutical industry to develop the formulations. So all kind of Ayurvedic and herbal medicine is formulated by the Vaidya and dispensed directly to the patient. But nowadays, there is a well-established herbal industry. They can formulate the herbal formulations, and these herbal formulations are based mainly on this our main three goal: quality, safety, and efficacy. Right? So we are going to discuss how to develop herbal formulations. So before that, we can discuss what is the global scenario of herbal industry. So why we are interested to develop herbal formulations. So I have collected some data from the source. So you can see international market of medicinal plant. It is around approximately 120 billion US dollar per year, and the growth of this international market of medicinal plant is approximately 7 to 10% per annum, right? So there is a very big financial interest of all the world is involved in this herbal industry, and specifically India is the world's second leading exporter of Ayush and herbal products, right? We are world's second leading exporter, and the data says India export approximately more than 600 million US dollar per year throughout the world. The global international market of medicinal plant is 120 billion, and we are exporting only 600 million. So if you calculate, it is almost less than 1%, right? So this is where India is lacking. Growth rate of Indian export is approx 12 to 14% per annum. And one of the Ayush reports suggests this in 2019 that there is a twofold increase in export in just 5 years. So in 2019, they have predicted by 2023, the Indian export of herb and herbal products is going to be twofold increase. Right? So why we are lacking? Why we are lacking in the global export of herb and herbal products? So there are certain common reasons. Say inadequate agriculture practice. So whatever the herbs and herbal product we are using directly or in the herbal formulations, the majority of the source of this agriculture product are not well researched, right? So farmer and the industrial person are growing as per their routine agriculture practice. They are growing the plant and using. So in this, we require very well research-based agriculture practice to produce medicinal plant. The second one is inadequate quality control procedure. We are very much lacking in the quality control of herbal plant as well as herbal medicine. Lack of large-scale organic cultivation. The recent era, of the medicinal plant or herbal industry is going for the organic medicines, right? So we are very much lacking in this organic cultivations, lack of processing and R&D. Even though we have a tremendous number of Ayurvedic industry, but you can have very approximate 10 to 12 herbal industries there. They have their own well-established R&D center. Remaining are lacking of this R&D center. So this is also one of the reasons why we are lacking. Lack of standardization in product, process and service. So if you want to export your product in the global market, they require everything in a systematic way, in a scientific terminology. So we are still lacking in the standardization of product, process and service, and lack of regulatory framework in trade of medicinal plant. This is also one of the regulatory lacking in traditional and medicinal plants. Right. So to overcome such problems and to increase our export, even though in domestic market our acceptance of our herbal formulation in the market, so we require a scientific approach in the development of herbal formulations. So what benefit this scientific approach give to our formulations? So the main advantage is we have the age-old claim of Ayurveda. We can know this formulation is going to be used for such conditions. Say Giloy Ganvati. This is very famous last year for the immunity enhancer, right? Everyone say take Giloy Ganvati, it will increase the immunity for Modi. So, but if we have well documented clinical study that so this yes, Giloy Ganvati is going to increase the immunity, then this kind of formulation is going to be accepted in the worldwide. So we have the old age claim of Ayurveda, but we require to develop the scientific dimension, scientific proof that our claim is perfect and it is with evidence based. So for that purpose, we require a professional scientific way to develop the herbal formulations. Second one is to improve the standard of quality, safety and efficacy. To improve the quality, safety and efficacy of our herbal formulations, we require scientific approach. If the raw material or we can say main ingredient of the herbal formulations are natural, we are obtaining plant or extract from the natural source. So there is a much geographical variation, seasonal variation that observe throughout the year. So, but if we are going to develop the scientific based Ayurvedic or herbal medicine, we have to minimize this batch to batch variation, right? So, and for that purpose, we require a well documented research based scientific approach to develop the herbal formulations. Increasing competition, you can say nowadays many large scale MNCs companies are going to introduce their herbal range. So competition is increasing day by day. So to withstand within this competition, you require scientific methodology to develop your formulations. Increasing consumer awareness, right? Consumer is also nowadays going smarter, right? If anyone comes and say take this medicine, this is useful in XYZ disease. Nowadays, people are not going to trust. They have their smartphone. They just take the phone, Google it, and find out whether he's claiming is right or wrong. So, consumer is nowadays very smart. So, increasing consumer awareness required your product of scientific data that yes, what we are claiming, you have the evidence. So, for that purpose, you require a scientific approach to develop your herbal formulations. And definitely, if you want to increase export of your product, they only approve your product based on scientific data, right? So these are some of the main reasons why we require this scientific approach to develop herbal formulations, right? So for our herbal product and Ayurveda, we are considering nowadays both are the similar terminology, but there are different kind of herbal products available in India. So I have taken some of the major category to differentiate what is the difference between the different category. So mainly we can classify herbal products in main 5 category. The first one is Asu drugs, which is called as Ayurveda Siddha and Unani drugs, right? In further, it is also classified in further 2 category. One is classical, the other one is patented and proprietary medicine. We can discuss in next slide briefly about what this different category of herbal product means in India. The next category is herbal supplement, right? The third one is nutraceuticals. The fourth one is recently introduced by the Ministry of India, phytopharmaceuticals in last 5 to 6 years, and the next one is herbal cosmetic. So if you want to develop a product or in the herbal category, so you measure these 5-6 category in which you are going to first you have to identify in which category you want to develop your product, and according to this you have to use your strategy to develop the method. So let us check what are the major difference between this category. Asu drugs. So that is comes under the Ministry of Ayush, Ayurveda, Siddha and Unani drugs. So in which there are two categories. One is classical Ayurvedic medicine, the another one is patent and proprietary medicine. So what is classical Ayurvedic medicine? As we have discussed, Ayurveda and Ayurvedic books are there in India. They have identified by the Ministry of Ayush. In these books, well documented or well written formulation is given how to prepare formulations, right? So if you are going to manufacture your product according to this classical literature, so such kind of product is called as classical Ayurvedic medicine, right? So for example, I have taken the Giloy Ganvati. So this is Giloy Ganvati is one of the classical formulations. The formula how to prepare Giloy Ganvati is present in the classical literature book. You have to prepare your product according to the guideline given in the classical books. You have no right to change any kind of ingredient or any kind of methodology, right? If you are going to change even the composition, even the percentage of composition or even one ingredient, so this product is lost the name of classical Ayurvedic. So if I want to prepare Giloy Ganvati, I have to follow exact guideline given in the classical literature. I have to formulate according to this, and then if you are going to sell this product in the market, now this is considered as classical Ayurvedic, and we have no right to change even the name of this product, right? So you can see market, almost all the companies have their product with the same name, Giloy Ganvati, because Giloy Ganvati is the name of the classical literature. If I am going to change any kind of minor change in these formulations, I have no right to use Giloy Ganvati terminology for my product. I have to give another brand name. Classical example of this kind of problem is, have you heard about the Dabur Chyawanprash, right? So very, I think 10-15 years back, there was one very famous ad of the Dabur that is called Sona Chandi Chyawanprash. So it is very well famous Chyawanprash. But due to these rules, if you see closely to the product, Dabur has a two product. One is called Chyawanprash. The another one called is Sona Chandi Chyawanprakash. So Chyawanprash is a classical formulation. If you want to sell Chyawanprash, you have no right to change the even though any single ingredient from this formulation. So if you are going to manufacture and execute the formulation, then you have right to use Chyawanprash. Otherwise, you have to use another brand name, right? The second one is patent and proprietary medicine. Here you have liberty to use ingredient, the combination you desire, right? So any kind of research-based organization or research-based pharmaceutical industry, they make their own compositions, they make their own extract, they make their own composition. They can try and they can set their formulations. So such kind of formulation is called as patented or proprietary medicine. So here is, I have taken one example of step tablet. So this step tablet is for the immunity development. This Giloy Ganvati is also for the immunity enhancement, right? So the use of both are same, but Giloy Ganvati is prepared according to the classical literature. That's why it contains only Giloy. Here, for our R&D purpose, we have used other than Giloy 4 to 5 herbs, which is also help to boost immunity. So this is a unique combination prepared by our R&D center. That's why the name is again the different. So you have to use your own brand name for the development. So such kind of product is called as the proprietary medicines, right? Herbal supplement. So herbal supplement is maybe a single plant or the mixture of plant, right? But the main purpose of herbal supplement is to support the healthy function of the body. So herbal supplement, you have no right to claim any therapeutic benefit. Right? Herbal supplement is just for the normal nutrition or to maintain the healthy function of the human body. So here we are not going to claim, right? In previous slide, if you are using step tablet, we can say it has enhanced immunity, or if we are prepared the formulations for the cough and cold, we can say it is treat your cough. If you prepare formulation for diabetes, you can claim this formulation reduce the glucose level. But if you are going to develop or manufacture your herbal supplement, so you have not allowed to claim any therapeutic benefit. You have to just claim that this product is going to support or help to maintain the healthy function of the human body. Right? The third one is nutraceuticals. It is again the broader category. It also falls in the category of allopathic as well as herbal. So main concept behind nutraceutical food is to supply nutrition to the body. Here you have rights to claim any kind of therapeutic benefit, right? You can claim that this product is going to benefit in such kind of disease, right? If you are going to use any kind of well-established documented herbal extract or herbal plant, then this categories comes under herbal nutraceuticals. If it is only minerals, metals, and synthetic product, then it is a normal nutraceuticals, right? So I have taken example of one of the product that is comes into herbal nutraceuticals. So this is Monton DQ tablet. So it contains one Ayurvedic basma, synthetic vitamin D3, as well as Cissus quadrangularis plant. So this nutraceutical product developed for the treatment of the and healthy function of the bone, right? So if a nutraceutical product having one or more herbal active ingredient, then it comes in the category of herbal nutraceuticals. Fourth one category is phytopharmaceuticals. So in phytopharmaceutical, you have to use the extract which contain at least minimum 4 bioactive, which is identified qualitatively as well quantitatively. And if you are going to formulate it, your formulation using such kind of extract, then this comes under the category of phytopharmaceuticals. Now this phytopharmaceuticals permission is under the CDSCO. So the rules regulations of this phytopharmaceutical product are almost equivalent with this of our synthetic formulations, right? And the last category is herbal cosmetic. So again, it is a broader category. It comes under the cosmetic. If our product having 100% chemical based cosmetic material, then it is called as a cosmetic. If our product has herbal ingredient as an active, then it is called as a herbal cosmetics. So this herbal cosmetic contain excipient that are of the pharmacopoeia or highest standard grade. But the main difference between the cosmetic and herbal cosmetic is the main active part of this cosmetic formulations are herbal based, right? So you know the cosmetic that is mainly used to enhance or alter the appearance of the body, right? So this is called the herbal cosmetic. So development of herbal product. So it comes in all the way. If you are going to develop for the classical formulations, for the patented proprietary nutraceutical herbal supplement, cosmetic, anyone. So if you are going to implement this scientific approach to develop your product, are going to be hit the main three goal of the any kind of pharmaceutical product, that is quality, safety, and efficacy, right? So how we can develop this scientific evidence based our herbal formulations. So normally all the scientific industries that are working on this herbal formulations, any kind of organizations, they have their R&D setup. So you know about the R&D, research and development center. So there are various different departments. They are synchronized in a lining way to develop a final product. So in a broader way, there are mainly 6 to 7 departments available in R&D, as you all may be aware. The one is formulation and development department. The another one is analytical, microbiological, stability department, clinical department, regulatory department, packaging department. Now we will start our journey of the scientific approach to develop the herbal formulations. It is almost similar with any kind of development of formulations. But what are the difference between normal development and herbal development? You will see next slide. Right. So how we will start our journey for the any kind of new product development. So if you are a MPharm student or the research student, you can know the journey of the any kind of new product development start with the literature search, right? If it is synthetic formulations, so you are going to modern literature search. But if you want to develop a product of herbal products, yeah, Ayurvedic in herbal category. So along with this modern literature search, you also have to check the traditional text search, right? After the literature search, we are going to take the different formulation trials in F&D laboratory. These different trials are going to be evaluated in analytical lab. Once the trial is finalized, then we have to check for its stability study. After stability study, we go for preclinical and clinical study. And once all this data is compiled, then we go for license application. Once we got the license, we go for market launch. So these are the basic pathway for the development of herbal new products. So we will learn one by one what we are going to do in this herbal category. Right? So traditional text search. So if you want to develop herbal product, so herbal products comes under the Ministry of Ayush, right? So Ministry of Ayush, as per the rules, you have to use ingredient that is listed in the Schedule 1 of the DNCA. So Schedule 1 of the DNCA listed 54 different books. So if we want to develop any kind of herbal product, so your all active ingredient must be documented in these 54 books, right? So you know these 54 books. Ministry of Ayush have published Ayurvedic Pharmacopoeia of India, Part 1 and Part 2. Part 1 have around 9 volumes, Part 2 have approximately 3 volumes. Ayurvedic Formulary of India, then Discharaka Sanhita, Sushruta Sanhita, Bhav Prakash Nigantu, Ayurvedic Sar Sangra, Arya Bisak, Bharat Vaishajya Ratnakar, and so and so. So there are total 54 classical book identified by the ministry that is used as a reference for the start of the work. So if you want to develop any kind of formulations, your active material must be present in this book, right? Say example, I want to develop a formulations containing ginseng as an active. So first I have to go check these 54 books and I have to check whether ginseng is mentioned in this classical book or not. So if you can observe, ginseng is not an Indian plant. So it is not mentioned in any kind of classical literature that is available in DNCA. So if I want to develop a herbal product using ginseng, so the Ministry of Ayush had not issued any license to me for producing any herbal product using ginseng, because ginseng is not used as an active material in India for ASU drugs, right? So before you are going for traditional search, you start your trials, and at the end of trial, you finalize a formulation and then find out, oh, my active material is not there in traditional search. So you are back to zero and you have to start again your research work. So the first and important part is identify the active, cross-reference, check the cross-reference whether it is mentioned in traditional text or not. If it is there, then you can use it in a herbal and Ayurvedic product. And if it's not there, you have to find out its alternative, right? The second one is modern literature search. Other than this traditional search, there are some modern compilation of the book which is also used with some condition in our formulations. What are they? You can know there are Indian Material Medica, database of medicinal plants in Ayurveda, Indian medicinal plant, quality standard of Indian medicinal plant, the wealth of India, right? Review of Indian medicinal plant. So you can also go for scientific journal, research thesis and many more. Now, Ministry of Ayurveda accept the different use of the plant which is mentioned in classical literature. So, if you want to use modern literature for your formulations, Ministry of Ayush means the FDA accept your license application only if this plant is mentioned in classical literature, but the use is mentioned in modern literature. Right? Plant is not mentioned in the traditional text. We have no right to use such kind of plant in our formulation. Plant is mentioned in traditional text, but for the different use. Say Haritaki, it is mentioned for the constipation. But I have the scientific evidence in any kind of this modern book that Haritaki is also used as an antioxidant. So I can use Haritaki as an antioxidant using this modern literature search because Haritaki is mentioned in classical literature for different purpose. So if you want to take modern literature, you have to cross-check two things. One, at least plant is mentioned in classical literature for any other purpose, and you have the scientific evidence either by well documented books or with your own research that this plant or the herbal material is used for another purpose also. Then you can use this for your formulation. So first, most important part of this any kind of herbal formulation development, you have to identify the active, right? Once active is finalized, then you have to start with the next one, right? Then once the active is finalized, then we have shifted to the F&D laboratory for the formulation development. As we have talked, if you are going to develop the ASU products, so we have two categories. One is classical formulation, another one is patented and proprietary medicine. If you are going to develop classical formulation, so there is no much R&D is required actually for the formulation department, because in a classical formulations we have no liberty to change anything from ingredient to process, right? So you have to go exactly to the classical formulation. You have to formulate your product according to the classical formulations, right? Say Giloy Ganvati. Example, if we are considering previously, so Giloy Ganvati is nothing but the gun of the Giloy. Giloy means Tinospora cordifolia. So you have to take the water extract of the Tinospora cordifolia and you have to prepare either in a vati, guti or in a tablet form, right? So if you want that the water extract of Tinospora is having less active compared to hydroalcoholic extract, so maybe I use hydroalcoholic extract of Gaduchi or Tinoporus cordifolia. Yes, you can use, but then if you use hydroalcoholic extract of your Tinospora cordifolia, now this product is called as patented and proprietary formulation, not the classical formulations. You can still manufacture your product using hydroalcoholic extract of Tinospora cordifolia, but you cannot use word Giloy Ganvati for your product. You have to use your own brand name for them, right? So for the classical formulation development, you have to follow exactly the procedure and ingredient given in classical books. If you want to develop your patent and proprietary formulations, right? Then after the finalization of ingredient, next step is finalization of extraction method. If you are going to prepare extract, if you are going to prepare a formulation using herbs, then you can directly start formulation development. But to deal with the herbs is a major problem because it is very less active, as well as you have to develop formulations with a higher dose capacity. So to reduce the dose, normally now the R&D based industry are going to use extract for their formulation development. So if you are going to use extract, then you have to develop either your own extraction method, which is phytochemical or biologically active rich extract, or maybe you can identify the outsourcing of the extract. Once this ingredient finalized, the extract is finalized, then you have to go for dose selection. So which dose you are going to develop for a formulation? Say whether you are going to develop a formulation in a tablet, capsule, your syrup, or any kind of NDDS. When the dose is finalized, then you have to go for the different F&D trials. For the development of ASU drugs, you can use excipient that is mentioned in our pharmacopoeias, Indian pharmacopoeia. Right? So depending on the type of formulation, you have a liberty to use excipient approved in pharmacopoeias. We are going to take the different F&A trials. This F&A trials is going to be analytical laboratory for basic evaluations. Depending on the data, definitely scientists will change their formulations. Again, this formulation going for the evaluation. So this is a cycle. This is continuously rotated during the full formulation development cycle. And once the product gaining the sufficient or say parameter, we can obtain the result that is required, then this formulation is considered as the tentatively finalized after the quality evaluations, right? As we are considering the ginseng example, that I have already told this is not used in ASU medicine. But if we want to develop the product in nutraceutical or herbal supplement, right? So this is not comes under the category of Ministry of Bio. This is come in the category of FWCI. So if you want to develop nutra product or herbal supplement, you can use ginseng, right? So in formulation development, you have to identify very first basis whether a product is lies within which category, within ASU drugs, within nutra, within supplement, within cosmetic. Because if you want to develop herbal cosmetic, again there is a Bureau of Indian Standard which governs the development and guideline of the cosmetic. So you have to cross check your compatibility with that guideline. If you are going to nutra or supplement, so then FWCI is the guideline which governs this product. So you have to check compatibility of raw material and excipient in that guideline. And if you are going to develop your formulations in ASU drugs, then Ministry of Bio is going to govern this product. So you have to check your compatibility of in this guideline. So in the very first stage, we have to be very much clear. If we are going to develop the formulation, that in which category we are going to develop, because according to this, we have to identify the active as well as excipient, right? Once the product is finalized, after the F&D trials, we go for the analytical study, right? So if it is a classical product, so product Ministry of Ayush has published one book called Protocol for Testing of Ayurvedic Siddha and Unani Medicine, where they have mentioned the minimum basic testing parameter for the ASU drugs. So if you have developed the classical formulations, so the parameter which you have to analyze, that is mentioned in these books, at least this parameter you have to evaluate for your analysis before approval. And if you are going to develop a patented or proprietary medicine, so basic guideline is given in this book. So like for tablet, minimum such 10 or 15 parameters you have to evaluate for your product, for syrup, such kind of that, right? So what are they? Which minimum parameter we require for analysis is description, right? Physicochemical parameter according to, depends on the formulation. Say with tablet, then you have to go for friability, DT, and so and so. For syrup, you have to go for viscosity and specific gravity, right? So depends on the formulation. You have to identify your physicochemical parameter. You have to analyze them, and you have to finalize the specification limit, right? Other than this, you have to go for expediency fingerprinting. So this is one of the major important parameter in herbal formulation. So which will give you that your product is having almost active compound have their own identical fingerprinting. So the product developed by you is giving the maximum efficacy, right? Further than this, we can go for the essay of group of active, right? As we know, Ayurveda or herbal formulation, not only the single compound is active, but the group of compound are there because it is a multi-component system. Even single plant is having a number of phytoconstituents present in it. So if you are going to develop the study, you have to analyze your product with group assay as well as individual assay, right? If you have developed the product for any kind of compound which is having main alkaloid as active, so what we do normally, we have standardized our product with total alkaloid content as well as the active constituents. Say we have used Vasaka, Adha Vesica. So we can identify how much total alkaloid present in this formulation, as well as how much percent total basis is there. So such kind of study give you the balance in your product in the result. And after this group assay, you have to go for heavy metal analysis and microbial analysis. This is compulsory. Any kind of Ayurvedic, cosmetic, or any kind of formulations, your product lies within the limits set by the government in heavy metal as well as microbial limitation, right? In microbial limitation, the basic requirement is total plate count, total yeast and mold counts, and 4 factors. That is identified and mentioned in the pharmacopoeia, Ayurvedic pharmacopoeia. So your product have to be tested with this test, and the result lies within the limit set by the government. Right? So this is the minimum requirement microbial limit test. Other than this, for the scientific approach or for the scientific data, if you want to give a scientific age of the product, you can also go for in vitro antimicrobial activity. Say you have developed the product for infection, for acne, for respiratory tract infection. So you can take the microbes responsible for causing some disease. You can take it to the lab. You can do in vitro antimicrobial activity, right? So this will give you the scientific data. So the result give you assurance that your product is really going to be effective in clinical study. So this in vitro study is going to help a lot before going clinical study. So it will give you the overall idea whether your product is going to be effective or not. If it is found not effective, you can again go back to the F&D department. You can change your formulation, you can change your active constituent, and then again check the activity, and then finally go for clinical study, right? If you are going to use a preservative in your formulations, so you can also go for preservative efficacy test, which will give you the idea whether throughout the shelf life this preservative is effective to control the growth of microorganism or not. So this is very much helpful to establish the shelf life of our product. Right. So once the formulation trial is complete, the analytical studies data is generated, microbial data is complete, then we go for the stability study. So as per the guideline, it is compulsory to complete stability study before going for license approval. So there are two types of accelerated study, right? One is accelerated, the another one is real time, right? The temperature condition is different for both the study. In accelerated, you have to store your sample at 40 degrees Celsius, 75% is relative humidity for at least minimum 6 months. And for real-time stability study, you have to store your product at 30 degrees Celsius with 60% is relative humidity for at least 12 months, right? So what we do, once the product is finalized, then this product is going to be put in the stability chamber. So there is a stability chamber which will maintain the storage condition throughout 24 hours, 365 days. Our product is going to be kept in this chamber, and at the regular interval, you have to take out your sample and you have to analyze in your analytical laboratory, and you have to match the data of sample against the initial value. So normally what we in accelerated stability study, we are taking the data of 0, 3 and 6 months. So before putting the sample in stability chamber, we have analyzed the product for the all different parameters, and then we have to kept our product in the stability chamber. After 3 months, you have to take out your sample, you have to analyze again your sample with the same parameter, and you have to compare your result with the initial one. Same after 6 months, you have to take the sample and again analyze the all parameter for the formulation, and you have to calculate the percentage degradations. So as per API guideline, so not more than 20% degradation is allowed. So if your product is having in any parameter is having more than 20% degradation, then you can say your product is failed in stability study. So either you have to change your formulations and you have to reformulate your product in such a way that it can pass the stability study. So accelerated stability study data is must before license approval. Real-time stability study data is required, but not at the time of approval. You have to maintain your data throughout the shelf life. Means if you are claiming that our product having expiry date of 3 years, So we have to maintain our product in this real-time stability study for 36 months, right? And you have to check the data at the regular interval throughout 3 years, and you have to compile the data. So any kind of audit from the FDA comes, you have your all data with this product, right? So if your product is passed through stability study, then we go for preclinical and clinical study, right? So what is preclinical study? I think maybe you all are aware. In preclinical study, normally two type of study we regularly perform for our formulation. The one is safety study, the another one is efficacy study, right? In safety study, we are going to perform acute toxicity, subchronic toxicity, and chronic toxicity, right? And in efficacy study, we are going to check the in vivo efficacy of the product, right? Say if we are claiming our product is used as an analgesic, so we are going to check whether in animals whether this product is really having analgesic activity or not, right? So if you are going to manufacture classical Ayurvedic medicine, classical Asu medicine, then this safety and efficacy study data is not compulsory. If you are doing, then good. But if you have no data, then it's okay. The classical Ayurvedic mention is Schedule 1 of the DNC Act are considered as a safe and effective. So if you are going to launch your product in the classical category, this preclinical and clinical data is not compulsory. But if you are going to develop a patented and proprietary medicine, this safety data is compulsory. Efficacy data is still not compulsory in India, but if you want to export your product, then definitely the country they require always efficacy data, and then they are going to approve your product. So if you want to export a product, then efficacy data is also going to be compulsory for you. But to sell the product in India, safety data is only compulsory. But the new guideline is already drafted and it is going to be finalized very soon. Then efficacy study data is also going to be compulsory in India for patented and proprietary medicines, right? After preclinical data, if the product is found effective in preclinical, then we shifted to clinical study, right? So as you all know, now this in COVID era, everyone is knowing about what are the clinical study in phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. So, right, in such a way, we are going to develop the clinical study, perform the clinical study in phase 1, 2, 3, and 4. But in specifically ASU drug, if you are going to develop the patent and proprietary medicine, or you want to check the clinical study of your classical one, phase 1 is not compulsory for ASU drugs, right? So once you complete your preclinical, you can directly shift to phase 2. Phase 1 is not compulsory for ASU medicine, so we can direct shift from preclinical to phase 2. The product is found effective. From phase 2 to phase 3, and from phase 3, direct you can go for the FDA approval of your product, right? Phase 4 is actually the post-marketing surveillance. That is comes after the launch of the product, right? So once the product is found effective in clinical study, we go for the license approval. So there is a regulatory guidelines. You have to prepare a document, you have to prepare a file according to the guideline with all documentation proof and all stability data, analytical data, clinical, preclinical data. This file is submitted to the FDA. So there is a different section of ASU drugs. You have to file your proposal to FDA in ASU drugs. They can evaluate your file. If required, they can also visit your R&D center or the plant center to check. And if the whole data found satisfactory and within the regulation, they give approval to your product for the launch. After the approval, you can launch your product. So this is a total cycle how you can develop a product and launch your product to the market. Right? Before approval, you cannot launch your product to the market. Right? So this is the general all kind of healthcare business. If you are going to be entering the healthcare business, so the success of healthcare business is mainly lies in main 3 parameters, right? Quality, safety, and efficacy. Quality means you have to choose your raw material, packing material, finished product with proper quality, is good quality, right? Safety, your all raw material and finished product must be toxicity free, and efficacy means your product is effective throughout the shelf life. So if you are able to hit these three goals, definitely your product will going to be success in the market, right? So what are the strategy to achieve competitive edge in this recent market scenario, right? So which are the strategy you can implement to achieve your goal? So first one is to develop the drug for untreatable disease which is not going to be treated, untreatable disease. So if you are going to develop the drugs, the chances of success is going to be more, right? Innovative compositions. So classical formulation, you can see number of companies are there with the same product name. So competition is very high. So if you are going to develop your patent and proprietary medicine, definitely you will give some competitive edge that yes, I have my own innovative composition with such kind of effective data, right? You can also innovation in your process to increase the efficacy of your product, right? Major drawback of Ayurvedic product is taste and odor. So if you are able to mark this taste and odor of Ayurvedic product, definitely your product is going to be success in market, right? Any modern drugs having major side effect, if you can give alternative of such drugs, then it is also going to be very good innovation for you. You have to assure quality, safety, and efficacy of your data. Now people are more aware, so you require attractive packing and labeling, because first customer is attracted with packing, then is going to use and find the efficacy of the data, right? And you, if you are doing good research, you have to protect your IPR, right? So I have listed some of the challenge and scope for the researching specifically herbal category, right? In which herbal formulation are still lacking, and we have a tremendous scope to increase in this area. The first one is classical or any kind of proprietary medicine. There is lack of NDDS. So if you are able to develop novel drug delivery system, that is going to be a very good research, and probability of success is very good. Such kind of classical formulations like Arcas and Quark, they have stability, yeah, shelf life of only in days. So if you kind of develop any formulations which can increase the stability or the shelf life of this kind of formulations, so it is also going to be good. Any kind of Google based Vati and Guti, they have DT very high. So if you are able to produce a formulation which is fast selling tablet of this Google based product, so definitely this is going to be good. Now the standardization of herb and extract is going to be started, but basically main with the phytomarkers. So if you are able to standardize these herbs or formulations with biologically active marker, that is also going to be a competitive edge in our development. Still it is lacking standardization of herb based on biological marker, right? Lack of qualitative method for finished product quantitative methodology for the quantification or the quality control of finished product is still we are lacking. We are very much lacking in the scientific data of safety and efficacy of product. And the major drawback is based to the variation of herbal formulation, because we have to depend on nature. So if such kind of major problem is there, if we can overcome, so our herbal product is going to be success in the market, right? So thank you. So the platform is open for the question, if any.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. There are some questions from our attendees. So one question is from Priyanka Joshi. She is asking how we validate our herbal formulation.
Uh, Validation of for the quality control point of view, she is asking, or for the process validation?
She may be asking for formulation.
Formulations. So if you want to validate the guideline is similar for as per the allopathic. So if you develop the method for the quantification of any active in a herbal formulation, you validate. So the same ICH guideline is implemented. It is also mentioned this for the accuracy, precision, reproducibility, LOD, LOQ. So there is no difference between synthetic or herbal medicines. The guideline is same for both the formulations. You have to follow same validation methodology for the validations.
Mrs. Kinjal Bera want to ask you one question. Yes, Kinjal Bera?
Yes, sir. May I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Sir, I want to ask that what is the scope of nano formulation in case of the herbal?
What is the scope of nano formulations?
Yes, right now there is an era that people are producing the nano formulation. So,
Yes, definitely.
is applicable?
Yeah, definitely this is applicable.
Okay.
So the main purpose for NDDS or any kind of nano formulations is to increase the efficacy, right? So there are the lacking which you identify for the synthetic product. On criteria base, we are selecting the such kind of chemical or API are going to be used for the nano formulation. So same kind of problem is existing in herbal product and herbal ingredient. So if you identify such kind of plant material or plant extract, so there is a tremendous scope of nano formulations in era.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Right.
Dr. Niranjan, I want to ask you a question.
Yes, ma'am, I'm audible. Okay. Sir, I just want to know that how the specific proportion of the herbs are decided in the formulation. Suppose I want to develop new herbal formulation, then what
Yeah.
about the process for optimization of specific proportion of herbs?
Yeah. So normally what we can do, basically, as I mentioned, in a schedule 1 of DNCA, the 54 reference book is there, identify the Ministry of Oil. So the very first part of your product development is you have to identify the ingredient. So what are your active, right? Once you identify the active, in say Bhaishya Ratnakari or they have the specific single drug mentioned for specific dose. So if you are going to develop a formulations using this ingredient with the same purpose, say if I want to use haritaki as a laxative, so they have given in this classical book that from 2 to 4 gram this haritaki plant is used as a laxative formulations. So you have to select this dose 2 to 4 gram. Normally in our R&D we are going to prepare using extract. We are not going to use plant. So we develop the extraction methodology, and after the extraction we are going to check the percentage of extract. Say how much reduction we have obtained from plant to extract. Say our extract is prepared according to 5:1 or 10:1 ratio. So the potency of extract is 10 times high compared to plant, right? So if the herbs is effective at 2 gram, so the same extract of that herb is going to be effective at 200 mg, right? So you have to reduce your dose according to the extract ratio. So you have to identify the extract ratio of product, right? Composition of this extract is based on the scientific evidence. Say if you want to going to take develop formulations for any kind of specific disease, so what normally we can do, we can identify 2 to 3 mechanisms by which this disease is going to be prevented, and we can identify the plant which have proven efficacy data to inhibit any one of these inhibitions. So we can select one plant for one mechanism, the second one for second, third, and we can going to be mixture of such 3 things, right? If this dose is not given in classical literature books, so what happened? You have to go for modern literature search. You have to identify the effective human dose, and then you have to calculate if scientific data is there, such one dose is going to be effective, yeah, or you have to check whether in clinical study. Then according to this, you have to identify your tools. Hello.
Thank you very much, sir. One question was there, can we get the formulation of proprietary medicine? But I think the question is not complete to get an idea of what exactly they want to ask.
What? I'm not get the question.
Can we get the formulations of proprietary medicine?
Can we get?
The formulations of proprietary medicine.
Means he or she want to develop the proprietary medicine, or she want what idea she require?
They have not specified.
Okay.
The question was in chat box.
So I think they want to know the composition. They get idea about the composition patent and proprietary medicines, right? So you can take any kind of patent and proprietary medicines. So as per the FDA guideline, it is compulsory to write down the proportion and the ratio in the product that is sold in the market. So you just take the product, see the backside, and you can find out the exact ratio that is used for the such formulations.
Okay. So now no more question is there. So thank you very much, sir, for sharing brief fundamentals on development of herbal formulations, including the aspects of Indian market and share of India to the world market. You have beautifully discussed different categories of herbal products for which usually people get confused what type they are and the journey of formulating natural products. On behalf of our university, I extend my gratitude for your time and session. Thank you, sir, and thank you all who have joined us. Thank you very much, sir. Have a
Thank
nice
you.
day. Thank you all.
Thank you.